Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us this Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend. So we're waking up on the program this morning with Dr. Jide Johnson, Chief Lecturer of NIJ. A fine morning to you, Doctor.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much, sir. And
morning to our viewers all over the world.
Indeed. We'll also be joined shortly by Abdulrauf Ayodeji. But all over that weekend, even if you weren't a member of the ruling party, I guess you would have, there's no how you could have missed. What shall I call it? When you're going in an airplane and everything is cool. Turbulence, yeah. I guess they hit some leadership arrangement turbulence. We had heard that Buni was out, and as the weekend drew to a close, as of this morning, last night, this morning, maybe not exactly. Maybe he should be in there to finish what he started, which is radically different thinking from just 1 or 2 days before. INEC, of course, I've seen one commentator say that no doubt whatever they were planning within the inner caucuses, inner recesses is the word to use, inner recesses of the APC, they didn't figure in INEC. So when INEC now says, I don't recognize anybody apart from Buni and Akpano, well, now they're all they appear to be scampering. You've seen the consultation junket, let me call it that. In fact, I don't know why, Jide, you went on that very consultation matter, because all sorts of people on that consultation matter.
We are doing a great service for APC by doing this program, in the sense that throwing light to issues which naturally they should resolve. If you recall this drama series that we used to watch in the 90s, Fuji House of Commotion, and you can see that what we have is APC House of Commotion, and it seems as if things are falling apart. We hope it can pull it together, because it's important.
We hope the center holds in this case,
because it's important for APC and PDP to get it right. It's important for the sake of governance, and there's no new party that will take over in 2023. It's between these two parties. If you are waiting for any third force, we are just deceiving ourselves. And if the party cannot put the house in order, then definitely governance will suffer in 2023. So as far as the drama of APC is concerned with respect to the convention, removal of the national chairman, and non-removal of the national chairman, Buni coming back, and then relocation of Nigeria to London, where everybody keeps going to London. I thought the president went for medical rest, and then the attorney general that should be a guide, and the president said, that he has handed over everything to the vice president. We thought that the attorney general should be the first person that will ensure that is complied with what was the first person, and the CBN governor to go to London to confer, and we had the Rufai has gone to London to confer with the president. Buni himself
they say Rufai will be leaving this morning.
And then Buni himself has gone to London to confer with the president, according to
his medical trip to
well, for me, one thing is instructive. One, for INEC to even recognize Buhari is an illegality, because having a caretaker arrangement within the party structure for close to 2 years is a dysfunctional approach to running the party. So INEC recognizing Buni, that the only person to recognize itself, is an illegality, because you can't have a caretaker arrangement in the party, running the party, when the party itself ought to have a national executive committee put in place through a convention.
Indeed.
And so for INEC it is like INEC giving credence to an illegal structure. And we have said it, whether it's not a function of whether it's APC or PDP, APC, but APC is the ruling party, and that's our concern. We have seen from 1999 to date, whereby the party system that controls the government in Nigeria have dealt with their party, the constitution of their party, with impunity. The disregard for the constitution of the it is an anomaly for you to have a caretaker arrangement in a democratic setting. It's an anomaly, because if parties cannot manage their affairs how would they manage the affairs of the nation? If you can't manage your affairs, and Oshiomhole was removed, and you put in this caretaker committee in place to conduct the convention first 6 months. After that 6 months was extended to another 6 months. Now you have this series of extension until INEC said, you know what, we require 21-day notice for you to have any change if you want to have a convention, and it is Buni that will write us for us to.
They didn't even say that at the time. It was later on when they received the letter, they say, oh no, I mean, maybe they were thinking that we thought you guys could figure this out yourself, but since you didn't and you've sent us this letter, it's not possible for us to receive it.
I think what INEC have done since is after 6 months to have written APC that they don't have a national, they don't have structure at the national level, and it's important, and it's important for APC to get it right. Now, the same problem that bedeviled PDP has bedeviled APC, in the sense that in almost all the states of the federation, you have parallel executive committee. 36 states of the federation, there are 2 state executive. In Akwa Ibom, there are 3. 3. Now that's 77 state executive. In the local government, 76 local government, there is every likelihood that you have 2 local government executive for the party in 776 local government times 2. Then let's say 10 wards per 776. That's 7,000 wards. So you have parallel executive in almost 7,000 wards, which is the base unit of political leadership. That's where you elect councillors. Then you have almost 777 at the local government level, and then 72 at the state level. At the national level, we are seeing this particular, and I think that APC waited too long in resolving this particular crisis, because convention
has it been resolved?
Yeah, no, in resolving, I said they waited too long in resolving this crisis.
Okay.
Now, because the primaries are already in,
and the president is reported to have said to those who came to consult with him that, look, his long-standing position has always been ensuring that the convention happens on the 26th of this month as scheduled. And it was probably rumors that there might have been some people working from within to frustrate that particular date that led the president to, quite frankly, unilaterally suggest a preference for the chairman, which also has come under, I understand, well, if not criticism, at least sort of, let's look at it again, because the point is now being made that, legally speaking, nothing ever happened to Buni. Buni was never removed, because the only person, the corporate person that could remove Buni would be the NEC.
Yeah, the president does not have the power to.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have the power, why did he? No, why did he jump in that sort of way?
It's people spinning, because there was no official position, there was no statement from the party, there was no statement from the presidency that Buni has been removed from. That Buni has been removed as the chairman, or as the caretaker chairman and chairman of the extraordinary convention committee of the APC. So there was no statement to that effect. It was left hanging, and people are giving different interpretation to it. Or the president has made the governor of Niger to replace Buni. Yeah. They are just mere speculations, because there was no authoritative statement either from APC or from the presidency indicating that Buni has been.
It possibly could be said that for a short while there, the ruling party seemed to be drifting for a short while there.
The party has drifted for a very long time.
Uche, good morning to you. Uche calling in from.
Good morning, Mr. Yari. I'm
from Oka, Anambra. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jide.
And Dr. Jide just, yeah.
Yeah, I think just like the lecturer said, our senior lecturer said, the APC is like the Fuji House of Commotion. Yeah, because just like you are saying now that there was no letter from there was no letter from the there was no letter from the presidency, or anything from the president that states clearly that they have removed the Buni. But you can see that even after the Niger State governor took over, there was nothing coming out from the presidency. Nobody said anything. So it's also assumed that since they did not say anything about it, they supported it, or not until the INEC now said otherwise. Everybody is going in my own view, what happened in Ondo State, the APC have not even learned any lesson about it, and they are still, they went to court and the court said something. They have 4/3, and the other side is saying that Jide ought to have, brought in Buni, mentioning Buni's name. And the other one said that for the fact that he did not mention Buni's name, that he just said APC. So that was how this Akeredolu was still the governor, and that has not even given taught them any lesson. Now, how can you now bring in something that is not in the constitution or even in the constitution of APC? There is nothing like caretaker. So whether they are bringing in the Niger State governor or even Buni as it stands, if Adam Oshomole had gone to court, I bet you that he would have won that case. But they have threatened him not to go to court. Now everything is just moving under illegality upon illegality. I'm just speaking APC. I hope that they just
Thank you very much, Uche. Thank you very much, Uche. Thank you very much for contributing that perspective. Again, in all the stuff that's out there now, we've been hearing of the rumor. Of course, they won't be particular, but it has been said that part of this hullabaloo is that it was discovered that Memala Buni was aware of an action designed to scuttle the 26th date, the date of 26th of March, which the president said all his own thinking, desire, and actions, and whatever planning he is doing is towards that date of the 26th, and nothing should stop, should interfere with it.
Yeah, because 26 is sacrosanct. If APC does not put in place, like Uche said, if APC does not put in place a national executive committee, how would they conduct primaries for nomination of candidates for 2023 elections? Now, if you look at the Akeredolu Jegede's case, in which was said that Akeredolu was not validly nominated because his nomination form was signed by Buni. It was a 5-4. It was a split decision of the Supreme Court. It could have gone either way. And like he said, APC seems not to have learned from the losses they suffered in Zamfara State, the one they suffered in Adamawa State, the one they suffered in Rivers State, the one they suffered in Bayelsa State, whereby they were not able to present candidates in Rivers and in some states in Adamawa and the rest of it, where PDP won the election, they did not even contest in. So, and it's important that's why the president is insisting. Otherwise, automatically, APC will just disqualify itself from contesting 2023 elections. He's trying to avoid it.
Exactly. Good morning, Mr. Joshua in Calabar. Are you still with us?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still with you.
Okay, go ahead, please. Joshua in Calabar.
Yes, I heard the guest stating a scenario where APC has a parent and ex-school from across the states, the local government, and the world. I want to correct that impression. I don't think it's every state that has the same issues. For instance, my state in Cross River State, we have one ex-school, and we are together. Across the world, across the chapters, we have one ex-school. It's true that the party is going through some crisis now, leadership crisis. It's very normal because interests are bent to come up at this stage of the party. But I believe everything will be fine. So telling the public that APC has parallels exposed from the state to the chapter to the ward level is wrong. It needs to be corrected.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling in. The issues that gave rise to this kind of a stalemate that we have probably are hydra-headed. It makes you wonder, to what extent did APC become a homogeneous party?
It has never been an homogeneous
There
party.
you go. Because
APC had 5 pillars, it has 5 trees. The ACN, the CPC, the ANPP, and then NPDP, new PDP, and then a breakaway from APGA. Those were the 5 groups that came together. However, the major partners were ACN and CPC. That's why CPC produced the president, ACN produced the vice president, ACN produced the first national chairman. In fact, ACN has always produced the national chairman, because from Baba Conde to Adams to what's the name of John Oyegun, from Oyegun to Adams or Shemole, they are all in the APC ACN lineage. ACN lineage. This is the first time you are having someone from CPC, because Buni happens to come from the CPC, and he used to be the national secretary of APC before he became governor-elect of Yobe State in 2019. So the parties that came together, there has always been this struggle. There has always been this struggle between the CPC and ACN for the battle of the soul of the party. It's a mortal struggle. It's a mortal struggle.
The CPC elements. In fact, the thing is, I was a bit concerned that they're being referred to as CPC members. But I don't know what to refer to, because these people are APC now. But still,
it's a dominant factor in
they
governance.
Are careful to mention that CPC members feel shortchanged by the president's declaration of his preference for
Adamu, who happens to be NPDP. Adamu was the governor of PDP 1999.
That is Bello.
No, Adamu, as in Adamu. Oh, sorry. Bello. I'm talking about governor of Niger State. I'm talking about anointed, quote unquote, anointed national chairman.
Okay, exactly.
Oh, Bello. Bello. Well, they will feel that way, because my Buni is CPC and Bello is not from the CPC.
Yes.
CPC.
So they are saying that we're being shortchanged. I don't know if to take a call. Am I to take a call? Okay. I think we should go on break now. Just stay with us, please. We'll just take a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll continue with this conversation. Okay, welcome back. And we're looking at what some are referring to as somewhat something of confusion within the ruling APC. But they'll tell you, politicians will tell you that every family has its issues and its problems, and that this is no more than an internal affair of APC. But it has got a lot of people, shall we say, concerned, if not worried. Definitely concerned as to where are we. I was asking, and by the way, we've since been joined by Abdulrauf Ayodeji. Comrade, as a matter of fact, I dropped that one, Comrade Abdulrauf Ayodeji, public affairs analyst, and he's a very staunch APC member. So welcome to you, Comrade.
Thank you so much.
Indeed, our pleasure. So, so how much of a party is? Well, I asked the question of Doc. Of a homogeneous party, because we're hearing now of the, so many people came together to form APC, and now all of these people are asking for their own due. For instance, it's been reported that the CPC component, even though understandably they'll be very loyal to the president, they're sort of together with him, they themselves have pointed out that, contrary to your thinking with that Bello that you went and said is your preferred choice, that shortchanges some of us that also have an eye on that office, and so people are now persuading the president. It remains to be seen if he will be persuaded that, look, let it go to a popular vote so that everybody can be happy. But address the question of how much of a homogeneous united party do you think APC is?
I think I listened to Doctor when he was talking about the issue of homogeneous of the APC. Is it really homogeneous in the real sense of it? Because yes, it's formed from 5 fractions, and that 5 fractions, because not every of those party that form APC eventually end up in APC. Some are in opposition party today, while some are in other party decide to go and form their party. But what boiled down, what we see in AC is what is affecting the whole of Africa, leadership challenge. Since we came on board, APC came on board in 2019, we see the kind of rabble we have to face with the Senate when we have Senator Bukola Saraki in charge, and more like a conflict of interest between the executives and the legislative. And this continued till we finished that tenure. And we couldn't even really position the government the way we have to. The government got distorted, the priorities of the government changes. We don't know the directions of where to go again. And hopefully they patch it up. We were able to hold another convention to do the second term. Now we have this second term. I think, to me, on my analysis of APC as at today, I've seen it as some people are finished with it and they think they should just go ahead and do other things, which is the usual politicking. These things always happen towards the end of tenures of every government. So how we manage it, like I said, leadership challenge. So do we even have competent hands in those merger? You know, because yes, we give respect to our leaders in ACN, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has a vision, he has a passion, he has seen what others couldn't see, and he tried to match. But did he check out the other people? What's their balances and what are their plan B? Because a lot of them that match us at that point has plan B. And this is what is materializing today.
Yeah. So, you know, instead of the defunct, people, for instance, sometimes you hear the defunct, all those parties that came together, they're described as defunct. But then increasingly too, they're not. You just hear people talk about ACN. I think we've even done it this morning. You see it in stories that CPC members. But the very important aspect of the now defunct CPC, you know, which is actually the situation, it's hardly ever emphasized. So we have this situation where everybody is still holding very, very strongly to his own quarter, and
tend to Israel.
Yes, every one of them. So
they keep the identity.
and then there are all sorts of plots that are, you know, supposed to be going on. For instance, the speculation is that all of this hullabaloo is at the instance and financial banking of, according to one newspaper report I read, a governor from the south. So all of these stories are in there. All of these aspirations are there. They're not aspirations, these are ambitions. These are ambitions, and it looks like nobody's going to be appeased.
Uncle Yori, the most dangerous part of politics is caucus politics, internal politics. Those that are watching in Lagos, no quite right that in Lagos you have to have justice forum, mandate, and then there was a sweeping order that all mandates are cancelled, and just like you have at the national level. So if you are a major player and you understand the goings and the workings of the party, you recall that when governors started, who are those that got the plum appointment in the administration is a function of the caucus you belong to, which you know, we say this in our local parlance. It is the wife that the man loves that the children have access to, and that's the challenge. So we can't rule out the issue of APC, CPC, ENPP, APGA. You know, the argument of Okorocha, for example, is that it was the one that took APC to the whole of Southeast, that APC was not in existence in the Southeast. So all of this argument, because all of this permutation is the simple definition of politics, people coming together, having similar ideologies. But within that same umbrella of that ideology, there are different strands and different layers and different interests. And like you said, APC is a mega party. A mega party, you have an amalgamation of splinter 2 major parties and splinter groups from 3 other parties. So harmonizing that, you recall, it was formed in 2013, February 6, 2013 to be precise, was when APC was formed as a party. And from 2013 to date, have they been able to internalize the democratic structure of the party? They started with the caretaker arrangement with Baba Konde. Baba Konde was later ratified as the national chairman, and then before Oyegun was elected, Oyegun was not even elected, he was anointed. APC had adopted the anointing approach.
Okay.
Oshomole was coronated by the governor. You know, the governor speak Oshomole as one of them, and they took him to the president, and he was coronated as the national chairman of the party.
So no surprise then that the president was about to pronounce, in fact, has pronounced his preference for the chairmanship.
Yeah,
so he has pronounced it, but now he's been persuaded to, you know,
to look inward.
Can you drive back a bit from there? Good morning, Mr. Ade in London.
Good morning, the 3 doctors in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ade.
Yes. You see, this issue of APC, my own point about it is that Buni has hidden agenda. Remember, he had a meeting with President Jonathan, recently. So he had a hidden agenda, and his colleagues from the south, they know what is going on. The man doesn't want to conduct this thing. They want to postpone that match exactly. He's looking for power. He wants to be chairman of APC, he wants to be governor of Yobe. But if you remember what Akeredolu said some time ago, there are no fools. He said people should buy form for zona. He didn't zone anything. So the man has a hidden agenda, but he was caught off guard by 19 governors now, including El-Rufai, who is closer to the president. When they now raise this point, he started panicking. That's Buni. You know, that's why I told you that phrase he uses, which I don't support anyway. But the man has a hidden agenda. And if APC is not careful, PDP will cost having a good journey to Asoro. The way they are going. Even though PDP has its own, we can be in the one clashing with the devil government as I do now. We don't know where that will lead. But APC as the ruling party control the life of 200 million people in Nigeria. They should be very careful. Allow when Buni goes to convention, let him hand over to the elected chairman and go back to Yobe and sit down in Yobe and be governing his state. If he wants any power in future, after his tenure, he can come back to have that power. Otherwise, I don't mind. Me and you, we will sponsor Mr. George to take over and become the chairman of APC. So let Mr. George come in and say he accepted the offer. God bless all of you.
Okay, then, Mr. Ade, thank you for calling in. So it's pretty much a serious situation because APC must be looking, well, I hope they are looking at the PR aspect of all of this. That is the way they are perceived by the very public that they depend on for, you know, to ratify their status as a serious and official, you know, party. Because the last thing, you see, we've always talked about the deficit in trust between those that are led and the leaders. Now, all of this performance, because I don't know, the president is, he said one thing, didn't he consult fully before he made that statement? He has, and when he did make the statement, when the statement was still good, I don't even know that it's not good anymore, but when the statement was still very good, the point was, the stories were saying that some members of the ruling party were saying that we're waiting on the president, and whatever the president decides, we will go with that.
He's the leader of the party.
But that's not the way of democracy. Now they are saying, can we have an open contest, please? And then everybody will know how the whole matter happened.
I think anybody that has been in politics and you have been part of it, this thing that is happening is not new in politics. It's just that the social media and the way news take information this way has let the thing become so sensational that it couldn't be managed. But I can assure you, you know, it's like I said, when the end of tenure comes, that's when all these rambles always start. We had it in from 2019 to 2015. I mean, from 2015 to 2019, we had it. It was so obvious, and we were managing it. But it wasn't this quote-unquote bloody. Yes, because the sensitization part of the news has really grown. But I can assure you, it looks as if the politicians know their game, and they play across the party in these games. And I can assure you there are people in APC that are working for the people in PDP, and there are people in PDP that are working for the people in APC. And that's why we have the distortion. And so hold power.
Is this a Nigerian thing or an African thing or a global thing? This is the way it is in politics all over the place. What's your guess? Is this particularly Nigerian or African or global?
It's a Nigerian thing. It's a Nigerian thing.
It's not a Nigerian thing.
Because when you have people in the other party working...
In the United States, they call them the deep state. They are, once they get to Washington, they are neither Democrats nor Republicans.
George is waiting. So please, let me just bring in Mr. George and we'll continue. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Doctor and the other guests.
Sure.
Good morning, sir.
Abdulrauf.
Uncle Yori, let me start by saying that our brother in the UK did that. I need to let him know I don't have a political ambition. I'm just interested in the good governance of my country. Be that as it may, Uncle
What he's saying is that I just want a straightforward person whose yes will be yes and whose no will be no. That's all he's saying, and he thinks you can do that.
I thank him for the compliment, but let's leave that for another day. Okay. Uncle Yori, what we have here now on ground is what you get when you have a president that is not interested in the affairs of the party that brought him to power. We debated this one before. The president, with all due respect, appears to be satisfied by just using the party to come to power. Yeah. He does not intervene or do anything until matters get worse in the party. The way the party is at this critical stage when they are preparing for a convention. Ideally, Uncle Yori, after 8 years of formation of a party, I didn't expect you should be hearing blocks, Block A, Block B, Block C, after they have worked together for 8 years. But because the president did not take interest in party administration, he did not delegate it to anybody either. That is why 8 years after, we are still talking about CPC block, ACM block, and this block and that block. But if I may say, how would the president travel in the midst of all this? I know it's a medical trip, but if it was a very critical medical trip, he won't have chance to be welcoming them in London. But they are able to go and see him in London. So that trip could have been postponed till after the convention, because it's a very critical moment for the party. But that has not been done. What will happen now is that how the ministers and appointees have been behaving and getting away with it, it is also happening in the party. And when the only good thing they have is that they don't really have an opposition. The opposition is as disorganized as the ruling party. So the one who should have been able to organize it, they didn't allow him to have his way. Tinubu had been there from the beginning. He made that party what it is. But they didn't allow him to run the party. And that's why we are having things like this.
All right, Mr. George. Thank you very much for calling in. This question about the president not being interested in the internal workings of the party. I saw that you were making some sounds to say that, you can understand why somebody would think that way.
Yeah, like what Mr. George said, from the beginning, with all due respect to the president, doesn't even know the mechanisms of getting him to be the president. He's a military man, but did he really understand how to get to that power? Yes, he has gone to power severally.
Yes, he was.
He has gone to power severally through gun, not through democracy.
But he tried for democracy severally too.
Until somebody that knows the way to organize and let you have it in Ashiwaju came on board. We know what happened in 2015. We know what they were doling out to delegate to get someone to be the president, the presidential candidate of APC then. And we know how someone that is so magnanimous and understand the mechanisms of running a party now have to develop and design alternative to get this thing undone.
No, that's a wrong narrative that people send. It was not peculiar to one people. In fact, the strategy of APC the strategy of APC, with all modesty, Saraki, Fashola, Amechi, these were the
I agree with you, but somebody must lead.
These were the real strategists of APC. Now, but
at the very beginning.
National face must be given.
Fahmi was part of it.
Fahmi was part of it. So a national face must be given to. So because we must, for sake of history and for sake of younger ones watching, we must clarify.
Someone that has all what it takes. Someone that has made those people you mentioned.
Must clarify. All of those things were done in Lagos House in Alausa here.
Of all those people you mentioned now, only one person is not trained by the same person.
So
Asiwaju dynasty has been what has been the ruling of that APC to make it survive. Even the Northerners didn't want to accept the man Buhari himself. This man went all out to ensure that they have it.
The take for me on the party is that ACN has managed APC from inception.
That's it.
ACN.
That's it.
From Baba Konde to Adam Soshima. And those three people mismanaged, they gave them the party. Now, the people usually accuse the president of not getting involved. Now, the president knew how he came into power. He knew what those that were involved. And those that were involved that were given to manage that party. They managed it. The last three chairmen of APC came from the ACM block. Yeah. What did they do with the party?
What did they do with the party?
Yes, what did they do with the party?
They gave you victory.
Crisis.
They gave you victory.
Left, right, and center.
They gave you victory.
Because what you guys are saying is very important. I've let you go on.
Want the victory
Meanwhile,
to be elusive.
somebody has been suffering for your continuing. But because what you're saying is so important, it is Yakub Indokwemu that has suffered, the extra credit that he has spent. So, good morning, Mr. Yakub Indokwemu. It is Doctor and it is Abdulrauf.
Dr. Jide Johnson and then the other gentleman, Mr. Ravi or something.
Mr. Abdulrauf Ayodeji.
Sorry, Abdulrauf. So I only enjoy. I do enjoy Mr. Jide Johnson very well because he does not care whoever.
So you don't mind if he burns your credit? Now I've known. It doesn't matter.
I don't mind when Dr. Jide Johnson is because he only talks straight away to the point, whether you like it or not. That is the kind of person he is. But I was saying that I am not the fans of former president of this country in person of Baba Obasanjo. But I agree with Mr. George. I agree with him 1,001%. Because I didn't believe that the former president of this country, Baba Obasanjo, is the president of this country at this time. This kind of shenanigans will never happen. It will bully out. When you know that you are not doing the right thing. How many chairmen that Baba changed when he was a president? Even though some people will call him autocracy or something, I don't care. You see, the problem we find ourselves now is that the president of this country, the person we support very well 2 times to make sure that he become a president of this country, he used the fake to become the president, and then President Muhammadu Buhari just we do respect to him because I really like the man very, very well because he just leave the fake to go to disarray after a while. We now see that this ship is about to sink. That is only time we now come up to beginning to bring the ship back.
Okay.
It may be late. So
all right.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
What will you say to a chairman that organized a convention? I'm talking about Governor Buni now. If you are going to a convention and then you organize the committee that comprised of 1,000 plus a member that is almost half of the podium, and then you are now go to the convention, which meanwhile you are the one inaugurate that committee that comprised of 1,000 plus members. So if that does not send you a message. So I will say that whether they like it or not, the Asiwaju of this world, whatever they play, whatever the game they play, the strategists man know where to hook them. Whether they like it or not, let them throw it open. If you know that you are popular, don't say that you want to do I'm picking somebody. Let's throw it open. Let's go for the goal. Let's know who catch the cup. So all right. Don't play the game whereby you want to annoy somebody. We are in.
Okay then. Well, thank you very much for calling in. So we now have it. People are speaking up. it doesn't look like they've done a very good job so far, let it be said. But then you could always say, what do I know about it? You know, not being a politician and all of that. Because it looks like a house in disarray. It now looks from where we're standing at now. Well, the president, from the very first we heard about this president in a clear way about this whole matter, is that, my fellow party members, please stop abusing each other. Please stop backstabbing. Please just behave like angels, like gentlemen. So let's. They are
gentlemen in political party.
Let's, you know, there you have it. Let this party, you know, suffer injury. As I was saying,
the convention we hold.
He said, "Call me, they call me." That 26, nothing is changing.
Nothing is changing.
But meanwhile, can you please desist from name calling and backstabbing? Actually, there are some who would joke that. And then what is left of politics if you remove backstabbing?
If there's no backstabbing and name calling.
So what are we going to do? Is it grammar?
I think...
No, that was just a joke.
Okay, I think the problem we have in APC, like my doctor said, from the formations of how parties are formed, even the path from the First Republic to Second Republic, is the peculiar way we formed the APC. Because forming APC come with an agenda to fight a common enemy. Come with an agenda to sit PDP, come with an agenda to get some people out of power. And then that has been achieved. Okay.
Well, sorry, I got interrupted because Benga has come in from Abuja now. Good morning, Benga in Abuja. I thought Benga was in Abuja wanting to join the program.
Yes, good day, Mr. Yori and Dr. Day.
Good day, sir. Thank you for calling in. Quickly, please.
I want to disagree with Doctor. When he was starting his introduction or something, he said that the INEC should have allowed APC to have a committee that runs the party. I want to let you know that I'm not a lawyer. INEC cannot determine how somebody runs his household. Everything done by those committees was based on their constitution. And this has been challenged in the court severally, and the court did not start Buni. So why is he now saying INEC should be controlling a party? No. You are the one to tell INEC what you want. So far, it's against the constitution. If it's not according to it, it's the party that will challenge it, not INEC that will challenge it. So on that, I think it's wrong. And also, I want to say that even Buni himself have done a lot for the party. Whichever want to rubbish him at this time, they have now seen that they are against the law. Because they cannot just bring somebody overnight to be party chairman when Buni has written INEC that he was going on a medical trip and this man will act. Why did they not write INEC and they say that they have made a change? That's why they show themselves at the foot. And it's very bad for APC.
Okay.
To Buni for all that he has done for them.
Thank you very much, Benga. We're fast running out of time. Has the issue been sorted now? Now, what's your sense? Let me just get your sense.
This is just the beginning of the end. This is just party convention. Now you are going to have primaries for the State House of Assembly, for National House of Rep, National Assembly, House of Rep and Senate, about 33 states of the Federation, including the Presidency. Now, that crisis is waiting to unfold.
So, I know, how do you see it? Has the matter been resolved?
As somebody that understands the system, you know, sometimes people outside see you more than you see yourself, but sometimes the people looking at you may not see what you see. The convention is the ultimate of any politicians. Anytime you are holding convention, who is going to be in charge of everything is what everybody is interested.
Okay.
Everybody wants his own people.
Because that person can influence things.
Even if you finish your state assemblies, primary and all sorts, the final nod will come at the national level. So, as they are just trying to ensure that they have
their own
good representative there, so that when they need to get things done, or when the whole house is in crisis at the state level for national election or state election, they need the national. So you see what happened in the last election.
Jide says it has just begun. What would be your one-liner?
Mine is as soon as we finish convention, APC is ready to fire.
All right then. Well, I'm going to have to leave it there. And of course, there's a lot more to say about the subject, and we shall, be, putting them out as the opportunity allows.
We grab our seat and a popcorn to watch the drama.
Exactly.
Dr. Jide Johnson, Chief Lecturer at NIJ, and Abdulrauf Ayodeji, Public Affairs Analyst, and staunch APC member. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.